Let's just regroup. We're on Ot Gimel on page Tedvav, but just to recap where we're holding. So the question was, again, help me out if anyone could, if you have insight. Hashem made the Geula come quicker, from 400 years to 210 years. The revelation came about because we ate matzah, and we were trying to work on understanding all that. To understand this, he says, the revelation was what made the Geula come closer, right? It's like, it's interesting. When Hashem introduced himself to us for the first time, officially, by Matan Torah, the way he introduced himself was, I am Hashem, your God, who took you out of Mitzrayim. And he almost made the taking us out of Mitzrayim the same level of revelation as, if not greater, than creating the world. Like, I created the world, and I took you out of Mitzrayim. So which one's more? If I think about my relationship with Hashem, I would think it's much more that he created the world and took me out of Mitzrayim. Took me out of Mitzrayim is a very important event, made us into a nation, vital, etc. But it doesn't mean anything to me today. Today, Hashem is my creator. That's the power. And the real reason is what he's saying over here, because it's Hashem created the world. And when he created the world, what he did was concealed his whole self, so you don't see Hashem. He's hidden. And then what he did was, he said, I'm taking you out of your limitations, Boker Tov, and I'm unraveling the concealment, and now you'll be able to see me. So essentially, I created the world, I created you, but I concealed myself in the process. When Anochi Hashem Elokecha means I reveal myself and I took you out of Mitzrayim. So the taking us out of Mitzrayim is not a historical event of taking us out of a particular place called Mitzrayim, but rather taking us out of Mitzrayim means taking us out of the limitation that the world placed on us. And what that means is, when Hashem creates the world, essentially, he's hiding, and you don't see God. And you're not exposed to the truth of what Hashem is. When Hashem revealed himself, which is, when you saw Hashem, Mitzrayim goes away. So that means you only have a problem if you are in a constraint, a Mitzrayim, if you believe you do. And so, in a sense, if I say to myself, what's more relevant to me, that Hashem created the world? Hashem created the world, so what? Okay, and I don't want to be here. No, Hashem created the world, and if you have a vision and you see the creation, you see what's behind the creation, you'll see why it's good always. You'll see what Hashem is trying to do to you. If you'll see behind the scenes, right, then you'll see God. So the whole notion of the Haggadah, again, it's a total transformation of what we do. It's not that we're sitting in the Haggadah in order to tell a story about what happened in the time of the Exodus of Egypt. Do you took matzahs? Yeah, lift this.
Okay, I'll give you more one another day. That's a shame.
Square.
Okay, lift this. I wrote down two.
Where are you for Pesach?
I mean, Kensington and Washington Heights.
Just put the thing in the good.
If I want to take matzah, I'll send the cell to the shul.
Yes, the brochure, and I need selfies. Selfie.
Oh.
Square. Nachamo. So you get this? Again, I am Hashem, your God, and you don't see me. And I'm taking you out of your limitation. So what's the connection? You were in Mitzrayim means you were stuck in a bad space. And it meant physical bondage and physical labor and taskmasters and everything else, yes. But the real reason you were stuck there is because you didn't recognize Hashem. The second they had a revelation of God, they were no longer stuck. And then everything in life, your biggest thing in life is that Hashem is revealed to you. If you ask any person, you believe in God? I do, but but not relevant to me. I'm not connected to it. The goal of the Haggadah is to get connected. Right? That's why it says, and the maror, and the whole Haggadah and the whole story. Why do we do it? Al shum, in order to get to Niglo aleim melech malchei amlochim. What is melech malchei amlochim? So Malchus is the force which creates the world. Hashem creates the world using his Malchus, meaning he wants to be king, so you can't see him, he's hiding. And he says, Niglo aleim melech malchei amlochim. That's the ultimate of Hashem's revelation of why he created the world, revealed to us.
Is it fair to say that Haggadah is Milashon Aguda, to attach oneself, to bind oneself with the Kodesh Baruch Hu?
Milashon what? Sorry again? Milashon what?
All good. Aguda.
Interesting, interesting. Except that I haven't seen that one written down because it's, I guess, the Aleph and the Hey could be connected. I don't know. But what we do know about Haggadah, what you see all over, is that Magid is, the Apostle says the Nogid, the higher dinur, the Nogid v'nofik. So Nogid or prince, Nogid means to channel. So Haggadah is to channel down the energy, to channel Hashem down. We got to channel Hashem down to you. We connected, maybe. So, but again, I hope everyone's understanding this point. Please feel free to chime in if you don't, or if you have what to say about it. But here's the idea. The idea is, I'm sitting down at the Seder, and I'm not telling a story. Forget the story now. I'm trying to get connected, because I'm not feeling connected to Hashem. I'm feeling disconnected. How do I get to be connected to Hashem? So I have to tell a lot of stories. I have to tell that God is real. The whole Haggadah is God is real. I have to get excited over Hashem. And but if you think you're going to do it just by telling stories, it has to be eat matzah, right? So you have to eat matzah. Now he describes in Noise Bays, why is eating matzah bringing emunah? So emunah is not by talking. Emunah is by having matzah, eating it, and then talking about it, right? That's how we describe. So in Noise Bays he explained, what does it mean to eat the matzah? So the matzah is, it says a child cannot say Abba v'Ima until he tastes the taste of grain. So a little baby is nursing off mommy, cannot say Abba until he tastes the taste of grain. So too a child, a Jew, does not appreciate God in his life until he eats matzah. And if you think it was last year, every year you rise above to get to a higher level of connection to it. Why? Because what's chometz? Chometz is yeshus. Chometz is a sense of self. What's matzah? Matzah is bitul, letting go. Chometz rises, matzah stays down. Matzah means also to fight. Matzah meriva. I'm at the bottom of page 28 now. And the matzah to be eaten with a moror. What's the moror? The moror is the letting go. Because we asked the kasha, the moror is bitterness. Bitterness is the left side. Why is bitterness over here in the middle? The moror on the tire plate is in the middle. So the answer is because this bitterness, where does it come from? It's not coming from me getting bitter over bad things. Rather, it's coming from me doing opposite. I'm seeing how awesome Hashem is, and then I'm seeing how, in that context, how lowly I am. And that's why Maror was in the middle, because it's come from a higher level. So the whole point is, what's matzah? It's a food that's all about bittul. So you're eating bittul and you're consuming it and internalizing it together with the Maror, which is noticing how big Hashem is. And when you do that, essentially it's like a medicine, and you get out of your state of mind and being. So you need to tell the story of the matzah so that the matzah has an effect. You took the medicine, now talk about it, right? And there's two types of matzah. There's matzah of we eat before chatzos. Until chatzos you eat matzah because Hashem said b'arev techlu matzahs. After chatzos you eat matzah because of the gili, of the revelation from above. Because the Jews were stuck, they had to work hard to get there, and they didn't need the maror afterwards, because once the revelation comes about, you don't need it. So before we go to this Gimel, to summarize, the idea is that the story of Haggadah is not a story of old; it's a story of now. It's ask yourself a question: what is keeping me stuck in this world? What's making me disconnected from Hashem? And then you say, okay, and if I get out of my own Mitzrayim, how do I get out of my own Mitzrayim? By having emunah in Hashem, by really seeing that God is running the show, and not by trying the next thing, by getting out of my state of mind right now. I do this by eating the physical matzah, and then I get a revelation from above. Hashem gives me by Chatzot Halayla. That's what we're holding now. Anyone have any comments? Feel free. Okay. Page Tesvav, bottom of column 1, Ois Gimel. Let's jump in. So the Maimon began with this pasuk. It said in Shiur, voice of my beloved is coming. It's skipping over the mountains. This pasuk is referencing Yetziat Mitzrayim. Pirush koelu amshocho b'loshen hapasuk. So a voice does not necessarily mean a voice, a physical voice. A voice means when you're talking, you're communicating. Something's coming down. That's the voice. So a regular voice is a small voice because what's coming is the heart, the emotions in the heart are being expressed through speech, right? So there's notes, just like in music you have notes. So too in the voice, the sound box, you have notes, tongue, teeth, the lips. Those are notes, and when you press in each one of them, you get a different note coming out. There's a great giant voice, and it's so big that by Matan Torah it's called Kol Gadol V'lo Yasaf. It's a voice that cannot be heard. That's a Kol Pnimo de Lo Yishtama. When you have an experience, if you're able to express it, it's because you don't really fully get what you got. If you can't express it, it's because you actually got a much deeper experience. When a person speaks and his voice is heard, that's a kol de ishtama. We're on line 3 of column 2. And now kol de lo ishtama. It's a voice that cannot be heard. If you look at yourself, you'll see all the time when a person is speaking, it's because the emotions are very external. If it's a deep something in your heart, it's a voice, but you can't talk about it. Now in the parentheses of it, which we'll skip, he says that says a meher yishama that's going to be heard. Od yishama, right? Kol chatan v'kol kala. So the kasha we asked in that maimer, it's in Tzav actually, is he says maze kol sason v'kol zimcha kol chatan v'kol kala. The only one I don't understand is maze kol kala, because if you go to a wedding, the kala says nothing. The kala is very quiet at the wedding. So what's the voice of the kala? So the answer is the voice of the kala is the voice of being mute, of nothingness. I was talking to a new couple yesterday, and we were talking about Shalom Bayis. They just got married. They're trying to figure out life and everything. So I told her that that the woman has the power to lead the path. How do you lead the path? She's like, "What? It's onus on me?" I said, "No. The word is you have the power if you want." What does it mean? That if your husband knows what you like, he's going to go that direction. And when he's unsure of himself, if you show him confidence, he's going to follow you. In other words, not follow you. You're the follower. But you're the follower and you show him where you want him to lead you. So if you tell him, communicate the things that you like, then he follows you because...
I used to return Bauer.
Exactly. That was exactly the point. Oysa not does the will of a husband, but makes the will of a husband. So the Kril Kala, right, is a very faint voice. You don't hear it. Kala's mute. But if you pay attention, you'll see she's actually leading the way. So that's what he's saying over here. That's the Kol Primo de Lo Yishtama. It's the voice which brings things out from concealment. Every time there's a revelation, it's called a kol. What's this voice? What's the Kol Primo de Lo Yishtama? Sheniklo Aleim Melech. It's the etzem zach revealed. It's also called a revelation. The way I understand it is like this: the voice, right? If you look at it, the voice of I just saw a beautiful letter of the Rebbe. The guy wrote to the Rebbe in Tafshin Mem Beis, 1982. He writes to the Rebbe a letter. It's fascinating to see because you can actually see the letter that gets printed, and it's like the Rebbe writes on the letter in handwriting. So he writes to the Rebbe that he wants to come for Tishrei, and he doesn't have any money. But can he get a bracha to get money so that he can come for Tishrei? So the Rebbe's circle doesn't have any money, and he says, "Don't have any money." Essentially, it's a simon that Hashem doesn't want you to come. So stay where you are. So he says, my neshama needs it. So he writes to him, how do you know what your neshama needs? And what your neshama needs is actually exactly where you are, in this space where you are. That's what your neshama needs. And don't look for something which is not you to find who you truly are, right? Just let yourself basically, I guess, accept what Hashem is giving you in the moment, and that's what's meant for you. That's the nakud over there. So I'm just thinking this is the same nakud over here, that there's a voice, there's two voices. There's a voice which you want to hear. The voice you want to hear is a voice of revelation, that All right, let me go. I'm asking for money, so give me money, then I should be able to go. The voice of concealment is the voice that, guess what? If you don't have money, it's stimming your neshama is talking and guiding you to stay where you are over here, and that's what your neshama is looking for. And maybe you have something you can achieve right over here, right where you are. So that's the kol kala, the voice you don't want to hear. So what he's saying is, the voice of my beloved is coming, and Hashem says, I'm jumping over the mountains. What does that mean? But first of all, the first part, Hashem says, I got a new voice for you. Where I guess we're too trained in the voice of life that we have certain expectations of what we want life to be. And that's the voice we're looking for. And Hashem says, maybe not. Maybe it's like, maybe it's the voice that I'm saying to come out, right? Like, maybe you should let go and allow the voice that Hashem wants into your life rather than a different kind of voice. So that's how you get the revelation of Geula. I think it fits in.
Yeah. Isn't it the hevel before it hits the Heimatzais? That code?
Yeah, but he's saying that there's krill. He's talking about a different voice. There's a voice which is the voice that's heard. That could be that hevel. But there's a krill gadol v'liyasa, the voice that you can't speak.
That's even before the hevel, you're saying?
Yeah, it's a voice that's mute today. It's a voice that's you know what I mean? It's like what you deeply feel inside and know intuitively, and don't have access to it because it's so concealed by everything else going on in life. So the way it's just, I don't know if you're getting the nuance of it. What he's saying, I think I'm just downloading the idea. He's saying the pasuk saying in Hashem, whatever, the voice of my beloved is coming, jumping over the mountains. So what does it sound like? Hashem, getting us out of Mitzrayim. It sounds like he's jumping over. What he's saying is that there's a Hashem says the reason why you're in Mitzrayim is because you're not hearing my voice. You're not getting what I'm saying. And you're not willing to accept what I'm saying, so you get stuck your whole life in a position. And the moment you accept the voice of my beloved is coming, you're going to jump over all your problems. They're all going to disappear. Right? All the issues are going to disappear. So it's not a history thing. It's Hashem's true voice when you let the voice be heard. What do we learn? There's another passage we learned it in. About the kol, forgot the one. In Kisavik. It says over there that, I don't remember. Anyway, right there. Medalig alehar. So he's jumping over the mountains. What does that mean? The kol gadol we know is this internal voice of Hashem that needs to be heard. It's the voice that I'm not hearing that I want to hear. And if I could hear that, if I could hear that voice, if I could sense the sensation of Hashem being revealed to me, then what's going to happen? I remember that pasuk. Pasuk up there it says in Nitzavim, Ve'atat tashuv. Remember this one? Ve'atat tashuv ve'shamata b'kol Hashem. Here's an example, Daniel. Ve'atat tashuv ve'shamata b'kol Hashem. What does it mean? It sounds like a. Think about it, right? You'll
return.
What does that mean?
And then you'll hear Hashem. Listen.
So it sounds like it's screaming at me, right? You return, go back to Hashem, and start listening to Hashem. Al Rebbe says, if a person is in a state of looking for Hashem and doing teshuvah, you'll start hearing what Hashem is really saying. Not boom, 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 screaming at you. So that's the shamata b'kol Hashem. You'll hear the voice of Hashem. It's a very faint voice that's Hashem's talking to you, and he's saying to you, I believe in you. Here's why I created you. Here's the real purpose. Like, can you hear that voice? Or is that revealed to you or not? That's the voice.
Is there somewhere a mimer or something that talks about that being the Kol Hashem?
Which one?
What you just said.
That pasuk I quoted is from Bechukaysa. That's the mimer of in Likutei Torah. If you want to see the actual thing, it's the mimer of Shibi Lochem Matei Lechem. That's the mimer. If you look at the mimer Shibi Lochem Matei Lechem Bechukaysa, you'll find it there.
Okay.
To be precise, in Likutei Torah, it's on page Memches, column 2, middle of the column. Shalom Ari. Okay. So again, new translation. Daniel got you to come.
Absolutely.
The
opposite. He got me to come.
Right? So listen to the pasuk again. I hear the voice of my beloved jumping on the mountain. No. If I start to sense, if I start to chap voice of my beloved, I start chapping that Hashem is talking to me. I'm in Mitzrayim, but God is talking to you. If you get that, then you're going to skip over all the Horim. What's the Horim? We'll skip over all the mountains. What's the mountains? So it continues in the Maimer. Column 2, page Tezvav. If you get this revelation of Hashem, it doesn't come in a normal evolutionary way. Doesn't come in a way of cause and effect. It's not that one thing leads to another, right? You learn this, you'll know that, you'll know that, you'll know that. It doesn't come. There's something very, very, very deep embedded in the Jewish soul. And it's right inside you. And again, if you don't learn this, you don't know this, you don't know how to do Pesach. Pesach just becomes a holiday to talk about national Jewish freedom. It's not. It's Pesach is hearing that internal voice. And I always think about that emotional, the frequency. That when you're over 21, you cannot hear the frequency that little kids can hear. So, or over 40, whatever. So if you're over 40 years old, they can hear the sound and you can't hear it. And you're like wondering what on earth is going on. There's a deep sound in the world, a sound of Elokus, of Hashem talking, and your life is awesome and things are great and you can't hear it. And the whole idea of the Seder is to hear the voice of Hashem and to hear why everything's so good and so awesome. And when you do, you will no longer be stuck in Mitzrayim. So why are you letting yourself be stuck in this horrible space? So this has to jump over the mountain. What does that mean? Look at yourself. There's a normal order of how things function. Your speech comes from your thought. Do you think something? Therefore you say it. The thought comes from the emotion. So there's a normal order, right? I'll ever divided the soul into intellect, emotion, thought, speech, action. And you're going one from the other, up, down, down, up. That's how you operate. That's a regular order. Aval, the revelation that took place in the time of Yetzias Mitzrayim, sheniglo aleim melech, that the melech malchei hamlachim is revealed in Bchinas hu shmoi levad shelemala mishtalshelus. Hashem and His name are one. Above Ishtalshelus, they are kazu eina yechel love b'derech Ishtalshelus.
So what does Lamala Mishtalshelus mean?
What?
What does Lamala Mishtalshelus mean? I asked you yesterday at the end the shame.
The means above the normal evolution and order of running things. It doesn't come from intellect, emotion, thought, speech, action. It's something which is transcendent, and you just have it's something deep down. It's, I guess, something which you know regardless.
But it's not external to the shtal. It's part of the shtal. It's part of what? When you talk of the shtalshelus, you'll talk of the atzmus and the Hashem, but because you said yes, that's part of Hishtalshelus. Each level is part of Hishtalshelus.
What?
I asked at the end yesterday when you reverse the process from Olam Asiya Agashmi all the way up to the Atzmus. Mm-hmm. How do you refer to that whole chain going all the way back to the beginning? So you said everything in that spectrum is all a different level of Hishtalshelus. Right. So the Atzmus and the Shem is also in that spectrum.
Atzmus is above Ishtalshelus. Atzmus is
above Ishtalshelus. So it starts right under. So, and what about the Shem? When you talk about the Shem Hashem, is that above or below?
It depends what you're talking about. Sometimes you talk about Ishtalshelus from Tzimtzum, and sometimes Ishtalshelus from the Shem of Hashem. It depends what level. Really, that seems to be above Ishtalshelus, but it's not. It's actually also part of Ishtalshelus. Right? Depends how you're talking about.
Okay, that's what I was asking yesterday. Okay, so you're saying now this is part of, but not the same operating system.
Right, like imagine a father has a massive, huge company, and then his son joins the company, and he tells his son, you have to join, you have to go up the ranks, you have to go like a regular clerk, and you have to start on the bottom, you have to get your way up.
Yeah.
So the son's doing the work. He's pretending like, he's rising up the ranks. But it's not fair because really he's not, he's going to become the CEO, which nobody else could, right? He is the boss of the company. So he may look like he's not, but he is the boss of the company. So every Jew, it looks like he's going to go through the normal order of running things, but you don't. You're a part of Hashem. So really, you and the Eibush are one. There's nothing for you to do. It's all you and the Lukus are totally one, right? And that Nakud is what you want to get out, want to bring out of you. Sorry, if you have a mountain, you want to get to the next mountain. How do you jump to the next mountain? The only way to jump to the next mountain is if you just jump over the whole thing and then you're over there. That's the only way to get there. So also, the revelation is so awesome that it has to come in a jump. That's what we say. That's in the Haggadah. What you want to get to is a revelation of God that actually leads you to a fear. Again, so it's not about telling the story what happened there. The goal of the Haggadah is for me to feel that connection and attachment to Hashem and to see Hashem in my life. Nigla aleihem, on me, Melech Malchei Amlachim, the force that's behind creation. That's what Melech Malchei Amlachim is. That if I can, through Haggadah, start to see the creation of Hashem in every detail of it, then I'm going to jump over all my problems. God made this attempt. He took one nation from within the other nation. So he jumps over the mountains, means not jumps over the mountains, the Nupshat now. The mountains are the Avot. Which goes to be Gemara of a Medrash. So what happens is, through the Avot, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, you have the power for Hashem to be revealed to you. And Avot is present, not past. Right? So in a sense, let's just understand what we're trying to do. The goal of the Haggadah is to get to a Nigdalei Melech Malchei Amlach. So the goal is to understand in yourself what is, right? It's B'dikas Chometz. Alter Rebbe took a whole night on B'dikas Chometz. He had a one-room house, one bedroom, one dining room, one kitchen, one office. It was all one room. And he took a whole night to check the one room for B'dikas Chometz. Why? Because the Avodah wasn't so much the external B'dika, but rather the internal, soulful B'dika. He was analyzing and checking and scrutinizing every detail of his neshama to see, am I aligned with Hashem? Like, where's the stress? Where's the anger? Where's all the negativity in my soul? And he was able to find it, access it, and transform it. That's the Avodah. So, and if you do this properly and you push the chometz down constantly, then by the end of the Haggadah, with Hashem's help, you want to have some kind of deeper attachment to Hashem. So the koil doidi nezebot, so it's a whole new way of looking at it. The voice of Hashem. Are you hearing the voice of Hashem? It's a very faint, mute voice. And your soul deeply intuitively knows that everything's good and Hashem's taking care of you. But it doesn't seem that way. And to hear that voice, to feel Hashem's voice in your life. Imagine you could feel, what is God saying to me every single moment? What is God talking to me now? And imagine you could do that and find Hashem's voice. By the way, if you ever try this, it actually works. Meaning, if you ask yourself a question when you're stressed out, if you look at yourself as a separate being, and you start talking to yourself and you ask yourself, what are you stressed out about? Because you get to the part of me, you're stressed. You talk to him, why are you stressed? You start realizing, I'm stressed because of this and this and this. And then you ask him, why does it make a difference to you? And if you have a genuine conversation without trying to shame him, you'll see he'll start answering and explaining to you and telling you why he's feeling that way. And by the end of it, if you pay real deep, careful attention, what you'll discover is that that deep down, he's just afraid of something, right? He's scared, and something is just bothering him. And at the end of the day, it's just because he doesn't see Hashem in his life. Like the whole stress over the business and the deal and the whatever is because I believe that my attachment, right, that if people don't think of me this way, if they don't see me with money and power, they'll think of me less. And then I'll cease to be. And I'm terrified of ceasing to be. And you'll discover that deep down, there's a little neshamadika voice which says, Bubale, you don't need the other people's approval to exist. That Hashem believes in you anyway. And that voice, you're so used to, that I have to make the money and I have to do the deal and I have to pretend this and go there and do that, that I have to pretend like I'm there. The true voice is not even heard. You don't even notice that voice. And the whole, what Shlomo Melech is saying in Shir HaShirim is that Koyel Doidi, the voice of my beloved, Inei Zebo, you could, through hard work of fighting an iskafia inside you and discovering the internal, you could hear that true voice. You could really get to discover the voice of Hashem inside you. And it's going to jump over all the problems. And suddenly you'll see that what you thought would take 400 years, boom, and you're out in no time at all. So he says, and this voice jumps over the mountain. So what's the mountains? The Abyss. The line begins, Aleph of a Medrash. Column 2 on page Tetvav. V'ainu, Shaladei Pesach Matzah Umar She'ochlu, right? The core of the Haggadah is to say Pesach Matzah Umaro. So through Pesach Matzah Umaro, which represents Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, She'achlu, Shem Bechinat Gimel Kavim, Ayu Me'orim Lemala Bechinat Orot Elyonim, Shem Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Midot De'atzilut. By eating the Pesach Matzah Umar. Pesach Matzah Umar represents Chesed, Gvura, and Tiferes, right? And through eating them and consuming them, which means transforming your internal emotions, this brought about the dilug, the jumping over all the levels. That's what brought it about. So they had to eat the Pesach Matzah Maror to get there. And he's explaining what that means. So the same, it's the same word. Medaleg is to skip. In the Torah it says, Upasach Hashem ala petach. What's pasach? To pass over, to skip. Mm-hmm. So Pesach and Dilug is the same thing.
The Rashi says.
Says the word Dilug.
It says Lashon Dilug.
Yeah, Vugamkin Dilug ukfitza. So why does the Torah use the word Pesach and Shir HaShirim uses the word Dilug, Medaleg, to describe the same event? העניין הוא שבתורה נאמר לאיזה מקום היה דילוג דהיינו על הפתח. היינו בכנס מלכות זה השער להשם. So the Torah is telling you that where was the skipping? The skipping was over the Pesach, the opening. Which is the opening, זה השער להשם, ראשית חוכמה יראת השם. So let's just explain this for a moment. We know the story. The story is, right, that there was, the story is told to us, there was the opening of the houses, and they put the blood on the opening of the houses. And then every house Hashem saw, he jumped over that opening, right? The Lord Rebbe is explaining that what should I do about this? So, okay, it's a story, very nice. They put the blood on the opening. He's saying it's not a story of old, it's a story of new. If you want to have a revelation of God, if you want God to be able to jump over all the levels, and you want to have a revelation of the true voice of Hashem and to hear that internal voice, what you want to do is have Hashem skip over and jump and pass over your opening. What's your opening? So ask yourself, what's my opening to Hashem? The answer is, Reshit Chochma Yirat Hashem. When I learn Chochma Torah, I have an opening to Hashem. והיינו בחינס מלכוס הנקרא מלכות כל העולמים שיורדת להחיות כל העולמים ונקרא בחינס מלך האור גדול לענל בחינס מלכוס היינו בגילוי שנקרא פסח.
You're basically translating the word Amunah, which is above Seichel. That's what you're doing. You're saying what Amunah is.
One sec. So what's the Pesach? What's the opening? What's the regular opening that a person has to Hashem?
The gateway is your mind.
Right. Your mind is the opening. So what does it mean to jump over the mind? Your mind...
Go above Seichel.
Exactly. Yeah. So in other words, right now, Hashem is revealed in the world. What does it mean? It means that, I don't know, look, just even Begashmias, look at the human body and tell me you don't see God. Look at the world. Look at the of course you see, look at what's going on. You see Hashem.
Yeah.
Now he's saying what you want to do is jump, okay, so you got the opening, good. Now that opening, get it ready. He doesn't explain what the blood is yet. but get it ready to be open to a revelation of the divine. That means that Hashem is going to show you that it's much more than whatever you think. It's a lot deeper than that. And Nigla b'chinas melech means ha'ara gdola ka'anal b'chinas malchus, haynu bagilui shenikra Pesach. So you want the revelation. We have to understand this. I haven't fully unpacked it yet. Maybe someone can explain what it means. I'm just trying to understand what it means. It means that you have an opening. You open the opening to Hashem. That means the gate, right? And if you try your best, you learn the Mayim, you open to Hashem, you start seeing Hashem, then Hashem jumps over that opening. Suddenly you'll get a brand new opening to Hashem on Pesach. So that's the beginning of Avodah Hashem B'chinas Yira. So essentially what it means is if a person does the Avodah on Pesach and he works hard, he learns, he's getting rid of the chametz, I think, is the Avodah. So Avodah is look at your soul and say, where's the ego? Where's the stress? Where's the issues? Where's the problems? And start opening a gate and a portal for Hashem to be able to enter. Zeh Ashar Hashem. If you open up a gate for Hashem to be able to come down and come into you, what's going to happen to you? Hashem will jump over it, and the revelation that He'll give you is far more than you ever valued at, and you'll see a lot more than you could have ever imagined. That's what it means. So I think it's like kind of like what does it mean to have a Gili Shechina? I think it means that if you give Hashem your problems and you show Him, you start working as much as you possibly can to give Hashem your problems and to allow yourself to see Hashem revealed in your life, and then you eat matzah. So you did the avodah of matzah plus the actual eating of the matzah. You will see a revelation of God, and you'll start seeing things in a whole new light. Now we're going to try and see if it works. That's what he's saying.
There has to be a little bit off topic, but there has to be a relationship between Pesach and Pesach, one with the Samach and one with the Saf. From a perspective of etymology. In other words, the way Shamshul Frohirsch learns the relationship of words, that the Isis and the Schalfis means by definition, Pesach with the Samach is related with Pesach with the Saf. Has to be a relationship somehow.
I think he's saying that, right? He's saying that if you open up the Petach, then you get the Pesach.
Yeah. I'd be curious.
So they're both what?
I'd be curious how he explains the relationship of the two words.
Yeah. וזהו, ופסח השם על הפתח, שנגלה עליהם מבחינת פתח. So Hashem said, I'm going to jump over the petach, I'm going to reveal myself to you. So that's all בחומש. בחומש כתוב, ופסח השם על הפתח. ובשיר השירים לא נאמר לאיזה מקום היה הדילוג. In שיר השירים it says, מדלג על הערים. It doesn't say where he was, that he was over the doorway. At תתפרש באיזה אופן היה הדילוג, היינו על הערים. מדלג על הערים doesn't say where, it says how. He's jumping over the mountains. יש בזה בייס פירוש, the true explanation of what this means. א', על הערים בזכותן כנ"ל. Because you have Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, that's why I'm going to give you the zchut of it. והב' על הערים למעלה מהערים, שהם מידת האצילה שעונה לו למעלה מהם ביינו מבחינת מלך. He revealed the level of melech to him. So he's not really explaining, and I don't understand the explanation as to why the difference between Shir Hashirim and the Chumash, but he's explaining what the difference is. So let's just summarize this Nakuda here. So the word is that there's a voice in your life, which is what Hashem is talking. Again, I think it's very practical that you can actually discover the voice. If you ask yourself at any given time, what I was saying before, if you have a conversation with yourself as to what you're stressed about, what you're upset about, and you just not judging it, just discover that, you could, this is the IFS idea, you could go into yourself and discover what your true voice is saying. And you'll see in other words, what's Hashem saying over here? Hashem is saying that it's all good, that life is fine, and you're good, and you're taken care of, and it's all fine, right? And you don't need to be that to be valuable. You are valuable, basically. So, Kol Dodi, the voice of my beloved, which is a very faint voice, right? I want to hear that voice. So, I want to feel the awe of Hashem's presence in my life. I want to feel how beautiful that is, right? And I want to chap it. it's the examples we were using all the time when the ladies are stuck in Detroit and there was a snowstorm and they couldn't get out and they all wrote to the Rebbe. They said, Rebbe, we're stuck in Detroit. There's a snowstorm, right? So now we can't be with our families and we're stuck here. So the Rebbe circled the word stuck. And he writes like, what's stuck? A Jew's never stuck. Sent on a mission by Hashem to Detroit for Shabbos. And when you get that, you're like, oh, see the voice of Hashem? That's Kol Dodi. Hashem is talking to you and he's saying it's awesome. So Kol Dodi Nezebo, the voice of my beloved is coming. What's the voice of my beloved doing? So in the Chumash, the voice of my beloved is saying, Upasach Hashem ala petach. Because the whole purpose is that Hashem should jump over the opening. So you make an opening to Hashem. You learn the Maimer, you learn Chassidus, you work on yourself, you work on your midos, you're working on getting the connection to Hashem. That's the opening that you're having. And if you do that, it doesn't say what the blood is, right? But if you do that, then Hashem jumps over that opening, which means he gives you much more than you could ever imagine. He shows you were my child in the first place. You're not attached to me because you're getting attached to me. You were always attached to me. You just have to work to discover it. So Pasach Hashem ala petach, and that's what it means. The voice of my beloved, the true voice of Hashem is coming to me. He's jumping over the mountains. So over the mountains means B'zchut Avot. I have Abraham, Isaac, Yaakov. But also because I do the avodah Pesach, Matzah, Maror. Pesach is Abraham. Matzah is Yitzchak. Maror is Yaakov. Those are the three, the segel. When I do the avodah of love of Hashem, fear of Hashem, and Rachmanis, I do the work. What happens is through that I get to a revelation of the revelation of God in my life. So the whole, again, to summarize in simple words where he's going, the whole work of Pesach is to discover the voice of Hashem in your life, which is, right, the voice that I hear is that I need to make money, to be successful, to be taken care of, to have security in my life, and to have people respect me, and all the things I need. And the voice of Hashem is that you are awesome, you are good, everything's great, and whatever, and you only need to do it to bring Hashem into Dir B'Tachteinim and into whatever else. That's the voice of Hashem. And you're not hearing the voice of Hashem, and that's why there's so many problems in your life. The goal of the Seder is, through the process of doing this Avodah, plus the eating of the matzah, which is the food of Emunah, the food of bringing Hashem down, of letting go of your own ego, constantly you're revealing Hashem in your life. That's where he's gone. So now the next thing, Mekapetz alak voice. Let's just do a couple more minutes of this. Mekapetz alak voice is so medalig is to trot, to skip. Mekapetz is to jump.
Why don't you say that Lashon Dilig is a jump and Mekapetz is a skip? Because Mekapetz is smaller than Dilig.
I'm not sure the thing jump and skip is. That's what.
Oh, okay.
What's jump and skip?
I don't know.
To me, jump. I mean, skip is like skipping, and you're skipping like whatever, and jumping is.
Yeah.
Which one's bigger?
Kapetz, I think, would mean like jump up high, and medaleg means like to jump forward.
Right.
Over a mountain.
Giv'ah and har.
What?
What's the chiluk between giv'ah versus har?
Har is give us a hill. Har is a mountain.
Har is higher.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a bigger jump.
Yeah, when he said to make sense, daleg is like daleg kadima, like I don't know, you go forward.
I think Giva is more like a gradual incline, like you just have, now you're at Yerushalayim, it's tall, but like a Har is more like pointy, like it starts, right. It's a more of a, that's what I think.
Okay, we're now going to describe the exact difference in how you medalig and how you kofetz. Watch this.
I have a quick question. You were talking about listening to the voice inside and finding that Hashem. I could be wrong, but I thought I remembered like more relatable, like your gut feeling. If you like try to narrow it down, like you're saying, look inside, try to really internalize what is the real voice. Like what's the Yetzer Hara, what's the Yetzer Tov? I heard that the gut feeling is really Hashem giving you that message. And also, I think it was in the Gemara and Brachos where it says late at night, if your wife tells you something, that's Hashem speaking to you also.
I can't.
I'm telling you, I got to find the source, but I remember learning it. It's like late at night. I don't know. Anyway, continue, please.
Chazal say the mountains, the hills, whatever they are, is the mothers, the matriarchs. What's the difference between skipping and jumping? Dilug beregel echad. When you skip, you take 1 foot and you go like this, right? You skip. How do you jump? Kfitza b'shtei raglayim.
Oh, so that's the way you were saying it.
It says it in the Mishnah. So what's doleg and kofetz? The Mishnah says in Olot. עיין שם בפירוש רבינו עובדיה מברטנורה, בפירוש המשנה של הרמב"ם, וגם בירושלמי בעצם קיפוץ עוקר שתי רגליו כאחת. That's the difference. So מדלג על הערים, מקפץ על הגבעות, מקפץ is much more. להבין זה. הנה כל בחינת דילג באור גדול שבוע מלמיילו, next page 30, whenever you have a revelation from above, אינה יכולה להתגלות כי אם בבחינת רגליים, it can only be revealed in the feet. כי זהו הכלל בכל בחינס גילוי, אין הנגלק עם בחינס רגליים, וישגוס רם דרגלו ביום ההוא, והאורס אתם רגלוי. So the way it works is, the higher one goes to the lower one. So the way you are is if I'm standing up, right? The guy below me, it's like if you're getting people standing one on top of the other, so the feet of the one go to the head of the other one, right? It's like, the idea is that if you have a company, or you have a government, so the president has to decide what to do. That's using his head. His decision, which is the feet, the tachlis, is what the minister of war goes to operate with. That feet of the president becomes the head of the minister of war. Then the minister of war thinks what to do, how to run this war. Then he takes his head comes down to his feet. What's his feet? The decision that he makes how to go out to war. The general has to go follow that. So every time the feet and the head becomes the next guy's thing. So now he's going to describe, I think that's we leave this for tomorrow, he's going to describe more at length as to how the feet are. So let's just, in other words, what does it mean the feet are there? So what does it mean to use your feet to get there? Let's just summarize what we're holding so we know what we learned today and what we're talking about. We're talking about the voice of Hashem being revealed. We're talking about how you get out of Mitzrayim. It's not that the voice of Hashem was revealed in Yetziat Mitzrayim, that Hashem happened to reveal himself that time. No. The voice of Hashem being revealed is, in fact, Yetziat Mitzrayim. If you want to go, how you get out of your Mitzrayim, it's a perspective that you have that leaves you locked up, and the voice of Hashem will be revealed. Which is the same thing as a Pesach Hashem ala Pesach. Okay. So now you know you have a week and a half till Pesach comes along to be able to escape to be able to escape your limitation, right? Get out of your limitation, get into the Meir Gardens and Gilishchina, get into the space with Hashem. How do you do it? You do it by having this matzah food that you're going to internalize and eat. That's the medicine you're going to have, and you're going to talk about it and be able to relate to it so that you can get out of the space. When you do, you start hearing the voice of Hashem, overcoming all the trials and tribulations in your life and all the issues going on to get to the Meir Gadol. It's actually quite Meir. If you think about it, I think the shift in thinking between it happening versus me doing the work. It's not like a story of Hashem jumped over the. People say the vort. The vort is right. The vort that Hashem dileg ala ketz. He said every kid says ketz is 190, and the gematria of ketz it's so beautiful, right? The ketz 190 and 400 minus 190, and now you have the answer. And here we're learning it's a little more deep than that. The idea is that that Hashem is revealed basically, and it's how you get to the revelation of God, right? By jumping over those things.
Okay, have a good day.
Sorry, just quickly on Pesach and the Tosaf and the Samach, I'm just thinking one is open, one is closed. Just very simple, what we're just talking about. So the Pesach is open, so he comes even with the Samach closed, he still connects. I was just again not necessarily the sound, but more the shape of the letters.
Now what Pesach is open? So what are you saying?
The Taf is open on the bottom. The Samach is fully closed. So even Hashem fully closed, you can't connect with him technically on his etzem. It's a niver naboira, with just like it's like me and a piece of wood. Nevertheless, the Pesach jumps over and connects to us versus having to have some kind of other way of connecting to him.
Maybe it says that about Chometz and Matzah, right? That the Chometz Matzah part is that the Ches and the Hey are the same letter. Just so that one's closed and one's open.
Right. No, it's exactly the same idea.
Now you're going to find the source for it. You know, if you look up Chabad Library.org, Pesach and Chabad Library.org in the search, maybe it'll explain it somewhere.
Okay. Very good. Have a good day.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, Yom Tov.